and welcome to Stitch and Sprinkles. So today I'm going to show you how to make these beginner shapes. This is just a round ball, which is the foundation for most designs, or most 3D designs anyway. This is really simple and a great technique to master as a beginner, and it's only going to take you a few minutes. Also, I'm going to show you how to make more detailed shapes using cookie cutters. I've just used a shoe, or I'm just using a shoe one for this. And this is a really simple technique for beginners to learn when you're starting out and you want to learn how to get specific shapes. All you're going to need today is you're going to need some of your, I've got Perendale wool that I'm working with, a 38 needle I think I've got, and a cookie cutter and a felting mat. That's literally all you're going to need to make these designs. You could just make them with your core wool if that's all you've got and that's what you want to use. I hope you enjoy this. So to start making our free-handed ball shape, just pull off some wool. I'm just using Perendale wool, and you just want to start by using your hands to gently fold this all in on itself to create a tight-ish ball shape, like that. Then we're going to grab our needle. I'm using a 36 triangle, and you're just going to begin by going round, stabbing the needle into your felting wool. Be careful not to get your fingers, and just move this round, rotate as you go. At this present time, all we're trying to do is felt the wool so that it sort of holds its ball shape. Also, by wrapping it up tightly, like we did at the beginning, you will reduce some of your time that you spend felting, as if more so than if you started with, say, a loose-ish ball. And as you can see, I am just turning this as I go, working on different sections, and then move it round, work on somewhere else to evenly work this over. And this is why it's important to clean your felting mat before you use it, which, as you can tell, I didn't do, because this has picked up some of the light wool that was already on my mat. As you can see, this is starting to form its shape really nicely now, and it is firming up. It still needs a bit of work. But it is coming together nicely. So now you're going to work it round, and you want to work on refining the shape. I'm going to show you how to cover this up. I'm going to grab a bit more wool, and then I'm just going to place it over the top because that is annoying me. So I've just got a bit more wool. I'm going to flatten it out. Maybe not quite as much as that. And then I'm just going to place it over the top of where it had picked up the light pink from before and felt this onto the ball. So you could also use that process if you made your ball with core wool and you wanted to then end up with a coloured ball and you didn't use the same colour right the way through, then you can just use your coloured wool and then pop it over the top and felt this over the core wool. Sometimes you get these odd little fibres in there from the wool, because obviously it is a natural fibre. You can just pick those out, use the tip of your needle. So as you can see, the ball is really taking shape now. And actually that's quite firm. I might just give this a little bit more work. But there you have it. It's literally that simple to needle felt a really simple little ball. And a ball shape will probably be your starting point for the majority, or at least a lot of your designs and things that you make. And that's it, all finished. Your needle felted ball. You can just have a look around this, and as I say, if there is anything that's sticking out that you think needs tweaking, then just give that a little bit of a refine with your needle. But that's firm. It's still got a little bit of squidge to it, but it is a nice firm ball and will be good for any of your starting projects. So next up, I'm going to show you how to create shapes using a cookie cutter. I'm going to use this shoe cutter this time, but you can use any cookie cutter that you want to create a variety of different shapes. I used a Christmas tree to create that one. This one was a pumpkin-y one, and I've got this gift tag one, which I made this gift tag from, and then I just put an eye in there. This is a great way if you're starting out and you're struggling with getting your shapes and you just want to learn your techniques. This is perfect for that. So all you do is put your cookie cutter on your mat. My mat is, I really need to, in fact, that's what I'm going to do next. I really need to sort out my mat because it's got this dip in the bottom, which is a pain, and it really needs an upgrade. So I've just got this wool, and I'm going to break off some of this and just place this. I don't actually know what this wool, it was in a pack of something that I got, so I can't tell you what type of wool it is, I'm afraid, but it isn't merino, I know that much, because it's not silky. Place that in your cookie cutter, making sure it feels fairly even. Grab your needle, and then you're just going to start felting. The one thing that you do need to be careful of is when you're getting close to the edges, you don't want to stab your needle on your cookie cutter, because it's going to break your needle. I like to start by going around the edge of the cookie cutter to try and sort of get the basic outline shape. And then just work my way over. If you notice you've got any gaps like I've got on the toe, then you can always add a bit more. But before I do that, I'm going to turn my cutter round and my wool and just do the other side. Same process when I do the other side. Start by going round the outline of the cutter and then working my way over the middle of the Felting with a cookie cutter also is a great way to practice your shapes, practice your felting techniques. It's really good for beginners to help get you started and used to the process. Bit of mine has peeked out here, but that's because I've got the dip in my mat. So actually I'm just going to poke round the outside and sort of underneath the cutter to try and push that back in to where it's meant to be. And there you have your cookie cutter. Oops, it's a bit stuck to my mat. Peel that off. Okay, so that's a bit fluffy where I was pressing into it, but as you can see, we've got the shape of it now. You just want to have a feel and make sure it all feels quite even. Actually, mine feels quite thin there, so I'm going to pop this back in. Just add a little bit more wool to try and build up that dip that I've got there. I'm going to gently go over it with my needle now, because I don't want it to felt too much into my mat like it did before, so that when I lifted it off, it went all fluffy. Right. As you can see, it hasn't stuck as much that time because I haven't been just having another feel. That all feels good and even. Pop that back in. I'm going to reduce my needle size. So I'm just going down to a 40 now, and I'm just going to go over to get rid of some of the fluff that's on the top. Obviously, you don't have to change your needle size. If you are only doing this to practice your beginner skills, that's fine. I've only reduced my needle size just to get a little bit of a better finish to it. But if you're just starting out and you're just practicing, just stick with the same needle. And there's your shoe. That is how simple it is to felt with a cookie cutter and get a specific shape. Anyone could do it. Now, you don't have to do this by any means, but just because I want to, I'm going to grab a little bit of black, fold this over, because I feel a shoe would have a little black heel on the end. So I'm just going to felt this on. And round our shape. Turning it over to follow that through to the other side. And that is how easy it is to use a cookie cutter to create a basic shape. And then obviously with that, I've shown you how to add another wall colour in as well. And obviously you could do that with different colour walls if you wanted to add more detail to your designs and everything. I think you'll agree that is a really easy, simple process to get the shape that you want. So you've learned how to make a basic ball shape from scratch and a shape design using a cookie cutter. Just in case you want to know, the cookie cutter that I used was an Anne Clark cookie cutter in the shoe design, platform shoe actually. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up and give this a like. And if you want to see more like this and be notified when there's any new videos, please hit the subscribe. Thank you.